Oh, thank you, everyone. So, this meeting has a very, very special start. I have the greatest of honour as my last duty as Mayor of Glastonbury to present an award. This award is just a favourite of mine, person in this town. So this is Glastonbury Citizens of the Year, and it's been awarded to Kim Von Coles, or Kim Von Cool, as we say. So I'd like, as Kim Von Cool steps up to receive this award, and to just... Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just say, whilst we're being positioned, so I've had the pleasure... No, you don't have to squat down. Shall I stand on the table? Thank you. Thank you. So I've had the pleasure of working with Kim at many hours in the morning, early and late, scraping off graffiti off walls and preparing spaces for new murals to make our town even more beautiful. We are utterly grateful, and it's my biggest honour to award you for good service, citizens of Glastonbury. Hey. Oh, say things. Yes, say
when I received this award, so I wrote it down so that I wouldn't be a fumbling mess. It's only a few sentences.
I can hold that.
But as my public speaking skills aren't great, I definitely don't need the right
No, you really
microphone.
don't need that, do you?
All right, so, as you've all probably noticed, I absolutely love this town and a lot of the people in it. In fact, most of the people in it. I'm so glad that my mother chose to move here with me in 1986, and it's been a great place to grow up, and it's a very interesting and exciting place to live. Life here is never boring. Thanks mostly to my mum, I'm privileged to be in a position to have the time and the resources to do things in and for my community. It's a very vibrant community, might I add, and there are probably many more people more deserving of this award than me, but I'm grateful for the recognition. It's definitely not why I do it, and I almost feel a little bit embarrassed by this whole procedure, but it's nice to know my efforts are appreciated, and I will do my best to carry on doing what I'm doing. I'd like to dedicate this to the late Gina Ty-Wharton, who's an amazing woman and last year's Citizen of the Year. She is a very hard act to follow and did far more for this town and community than I ever could. I'd like to thank a couple of people, especially my partner Dave, who's sat over there, who I drive a bit mad with all the ridiculous things I try to take on, and also my son Zali, who has to deal with me when I'm stressed out because I've taken on too much. Also the amazing Vicky, Vicky Stewart over here, who is my go-to person for advice and support regarding anything to do with this town, and all you lot here in the council for humouring my ridiculous demands and requests, and Connor also for being so helpful. If anybody's interested in supporting my efforts, please make a donation to the mural trail, which is currently my biggest project. Or find me some funding to build a pump track for the kids. Thanks. Yes.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Kim, and everyone. So, gosh, this is my last meeting. So I have a little speech as well, just to finally say that I am actually leaving, honestly. So this year has gone so quickly, although it feels like the longest year of my life. It's been the most profound honour to serve and to represent my town, especially in a year of very smoothly occurring events, not all down to me. So we had a storm-free Frost Fair, we had an instant-free Beltane Christmas lunch that fed over 360 people. Glastonbury in Bloom, so Glastonbury is now representing the entirety of the Southwest in the Nationals, which I've got to just... And the Dragon Day gave us a weekend of summer, I think. That last weekend we had was down to them. So I've loved every parade, every visit, and I've cherished every friendship of lieutenants, high sheriffs, and our fellow mayors and our chain gang, who I'm sure are watching. Extraordinary people run this council, and it has been my greatest privilege to work with such dedicated people. This team that helps facilitate this town, its events and its services. I sincerely thank all my fellow councillors for your trust and for your guidance. Thank you. So I want to say thank you to the town hall team, to Jane and to Scarlett and to Jackie and the two Sarahs, Sarah Hallam and Sarah Marks. They are the town hall's matriarchy and run this place brilliantly. And I know they're watching as well. So hello and thank you for carry on watching me. And they've always supported me in my crazy schemes with grace and humour. And to the caretakers for all their hard work, behind the scenes. And they always seem to be on duty and they always seem to be on call. So thank you. To Terry, my mace bearer. Oh, hello. Who's always there, guarding me. And I want to also to say to Claire, our past mace, for her dedicated service. So thank you to Claire. And I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Rosie. So this is Rosie. So Rosie to our team, and she is our new mace bearer, and I wish you well and long service. Thank you in your new role. And to Connor. So very, very special thanks to Connor, who makes us all look good. And he keeps us all in order. So thank you very much to you, Connor. So just to say, I started my mayoral year with with a commitment. So I mentioned a couple of commitments that I was going to do. Luckily, I think I actually did them. So that was fostering community resilience and town adaptation. So a few projects we did actually lead. So we led pilot projects. So what was started here will be rolled out to the rest of Somerset. The first one was the 5 Mile Food and Farming pilot project. So that helps farms to transition to a more eco-agricultural farming methods. And we funded 3 facilitators to undergo training in that. So we also hosted the pilot for the Somerset Wildlife Trust to Act to Adapt, which was a big consultation process just coming to its end. And that was a personalised adaptation plan, and that's for urban and wildlife areas in Glastonbury. So they should be coming soon. As for resilience, well, this is about people and community. And we nurtured the volunteer support network, introducing the High Sheriff of Somerset Award for our volunteer organisations. And we all know that our volunteer organisations are the beating heart of this town, and those volunteers should be supported. It's also been a turbulent year for all of us and for Somerset. So we had to ride that wave. Starting with our county going unitary, so Somerset going unitary at the beginning, with our towns and villages working in LCNs, which is local community networks, ours being Avalon and Poldens. We forged relationships with our neighbours, villages and towns, and it looked like that was going to be us until soon after, Somerset announced a pre-warning of potential bankruptcy. And we have been working hard. We had to work hard to keep our precepts down, and whilst keeping our local services and our provisions open. So I've spent my year building bridges, gaining support, and getting to know our many, many different communities and their many, many different needs. And with this privileged insight, I will continue to work as your councillor, serving my community as I was invested in doing so. Thank you. I do just want to give 2 more thank yous, if I may. I want to first thank my deputy for being so wonderful and, yes, in my chaos, being the calm. Thank you so much. And my last not to embarrass you, but to my consort, to my mayoress, to my daughter, with whom I would not have done this. I would not have been able to do this. She gave me the courage and the patience, and also reminded me where everything was, to do this job. So I want to thank you for being with me on this beautiful year journey. Okay, well, that's over now. So all I have left to do is my greatest honour to ask for nominations, please, for Mayor. Yes, Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to nominate Lokamundu. Now, I never get your name right, so I'll go with LB. For the post of Mayor. I think you'll make a brilliant Mayor. I think you've shown while you've been deputising for Indra what you can do and how you can do it. And you've chaired a couple of meetings, I think.
Okay, fantastic. So may we please then vote for Lokabandu to be our next Mayor of Glastonbury. All those in favour? Fantastic, thank you. All those against? All those abstaining? Fantastic. Thank you very much. My greatest honour to wish you the best of being Mayor, if you so accept it.
I do accept it.
Lovely. We have to do another thing now.
We have to adjourn, it says here.
I have to sign that, don't you? I have to sign something.
No, you don't.
Oh, I do. You do.
Lokabandu does.
Oh, you sign it now. Oh, right. Before you go in, so you don't run away.
Yeah, if you could read it.
I'll read it.
Yeah, reader. For the next 10 years.
I'll read it out, just for your interest. I, Councillor Lokabandu, having been elected to the office of Mayor of Glastonbury Town Council, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I also undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected from members of Glastonbury Town Council. So I'll sign it. I hope that was loud enough.
Yeah. Good stuff, eh?
And somebody needs to witness it. Can I witness it?
Witness it. Okay. Your pen. Thank you. Should we adjourn? Councillors, we adjourn? Yes.
Yes, Kim.
Lindsay, can you rescue my pen? The white one.
The council dropped it. I mean the bypass.
No,
We can bring
never. No, well, to be honest, when I was working, I just didn't have any time. If you're going to do it, you've got to do it properly, haven't you?
that's why we got plenty A361.
Why do we do things about 5 kids would have thought when they expected to be elected? Just thought, well, that wasn't down there. Gotta do it. So
dear. We went back with a bit of miserable weather. No, not that miserable, but not brilliant, is it? It's your busy time now, isn't it, with the Glastonbury balloon?
That's the way we should.
Be able to be more used this year. I'm getting a lot better, and I've got to go for. I'm going to Canada, so I won't be able to next meeting. But when I get back, I've got to go for an iron infusion, which is where they put.
Not for 2030.
No, nothing.
No,
No,
because
that.
Make you better, so we can't get it in between, or make you feel better. So, but we can't get it in between now and.
They're ongoing, isn't it?
but then that's been shared.
Well, she didn't think they would. She's
I
tried.
don't have that. I have injections because I've got pernicious anemia. So
Ah, you're anemic as well.
I'm
Yeah.
really anemic, and so then it just wears
As far as
out.
I'm concerned, that would do Glastonbury.
Yeah.
I've got no energy.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
It's constant.
And I beat off most of the things that came from long COVID, but that's the last one we're hanging around. My blood,
Occasion.
yeah,
I'm naughty. Sometimes I don't even and then I get wiped out. I haven't got any first.
Yeah,
There's
that's it.
nothing I can do. I just have to stop.
no, I've had full on orders. I've not got to overdo it and whatever at the moment, but I've listened to her and I've got rid of most of it. But it's just the anemia now and no iron and
I think
blood bits.
your body doesn't make so many. It doesn't make the B12.
That's it. It's all that. The renal specialist has been making sure be okay, but it's all due to long COVID, really.
I know some
Yeah.
people have really suffered.
Yeah, I just once we get this on top of this, I should be back out of it again properly. Yeah. So, sometimes she does. She wasn't at the last full council in April. We've got the so she'll probably turn up to that. She just works out
When she can.
when she. Yeah, I don't know what she's doing. If she's doing
So we can then determine our next step forward. Because we've done the steps that we've been. Here we go.
They're members of the public.
Oh yay! Oh yay! Oh yay! Town councillors, ladies and gentlemen, please be outstanding for the new mayor of Glastonbury, Councillor Lokabandu.
Thank you. This is the extra electronic chain of office. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'd like to say a few words. It says here, acceptance speech. So, I think the first thing I feel is that electing me as mayor, or anybody as mayor, is a declaration of trust in them. So I really appreciate the trust that my fellow council members are putting in me. And I do seriously pledge to uphold that trust and do what I can to make sure all of us, all 16 of us, can play as full a part as we wish in taking the council and the town forward. We all come from different, backgrounds, different political perspectives, different experience, but we've all been elected by the electors to serve the town, and I pledge to encourage all of us equally to play our full part. I also feel it's an honour, and I feel suitably humbled, I think is the word, by the honour of being mayor. So thank you. I also feel to be mayor, and I'm sure Councillor Don Francesco would agree, she's disappeared. It's an opportunity. It's like a once in a lifetime, 1 year only opportunity, which I know some of us around this table have had, others will in the future. But I feel very strongly it's an opportunity you have given me, and I would like to make the most of it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, unless your name is Councillor Cousins, in which case it seems to come around quite a few times. And I think different mayors would choose different things to focus on to make the most of their opportunity. What I would like to focus on is building relations between the many different faith communities in Glastonbury. I'm a Buddhist, a proud and happy Buddhist, but Glastonbury has a reputation, as we all know, for spiritual diversity. There's been a long-standing myth, I suppose, that there are 80 different faith groups in Glastonbury. It's either 80 or 78, I'm not sure which. The exact details of this seem to get lost over the past years, but I have spent the last few months trying to research how many faith groups are there in Glastonbury, and today I added it up for the first time. I've got all the contact details for 77 different faith groups in Glastonbury. I'm pretty sure there's more, so we may yet beat the 80 mythic total, but that's a lot. For a small town, there's at least 77 different faith groups in Glastonbury, and I would like to take this opportunity just to build relations between them in the spirit of pride in one's own tradition, but an open inquiry into the other traditions, and then kind of friendly dialogue, friendly discourse, even friendly questioning. My kind of model for it is a football match where your team is the best, and you have no doubt about that. You've chosen your team, whether it be whatever, but you go out on the pitch every week or two to play with the other teams and may the best one win. So something like that. I'd also like to use the opportunity, as the faith groups are meeting and dialoguing, just to kind of demonstrate to the world that serious spiritual practice and inquiry goes on in Glastonbury. Glastonbury has many shopping opportunities for spiritual people, dressing up opportunities for spiritual people. Not to cast any scorn on that, I mean, who are we to talk? But there's serious, I know there's serious spiritual practice happens in Glastonbury as well, and I'd like to, reveal that to the world alongside dialogue between us. So one thing I've done in preparation for this is it's traditional for the mayor to appoint a chaplain, and this is actually item 4 on our agenda. It'll come. But I've also appointed a chaplaincy. So chaplaincy is a panel of chaplains from different faith groups, and I've actually found 6 people to be a chaplaincy already. And even though I wasn't sure I would be mayor, we've taken the liberty of starting to meet already. People are really keen, and we've met twice already. The first meeting was getting acquainted, and the second meeting was brainstorming topics we could discuss. So the vicar, David McGeoch, is on the panel. He's leaving, so it may well be Kieran, his deputy. Father Dominic from the Catholic Church is on the panel. Danu Forrest, a well-known Druid, Celtic shaman, author, is on the panel. She's studying a PhD in Celtic spirituality. Celia Thomas is on the panel. She is a long-standing resident of Glastonbury, member of the Fellowship of Isis, and just got very strong feelings for the divine feminine in town. Simon Hargreave is on the panel. He is a long-standing Hindu bhajan devotee, leading the bhajans here and there. And there's a guest slot where we'll just invite different people, different months to come. And I've been slowly meeting the different faith groups, including the imam of our mosque, for instance.
Your worship, sorry to interrupt you. May we sit?
Oh, of course, I'm sorry. Yeah, please do. I do apologise.
You have the power.
I do apologise, of course, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. So I feel excited by that, this chaplaincy. I'll also have a chaplain, but we'll get to that in due course. And I will also mention Mayor's Day, which won't be Mayor's Sunday, because it'll happen on a Saturday. We'll be inviting all the different representatives of all the faith groups to come together and just meet and dialogue as a kind of kickstart. That'll be on July the 6th. So please put it in your diary if you're free, Saturday, July the 6th. David McGeoch from the St John's has kindly offered the venue, the church, for the whole day. So all that's very exciting, but we are already involved in a great deal of business in this council. Councillor Don Francesco pointed at it, but I think one of my main tasks, in fact all of our tasks, will be just continuing to take things forward slowly and steadily and smoothly in all the different ways we are already doing it. There's the town deal. All the different town deal projects are beginning to take shape. Building work is happening, but the coming year is going to be crucial for that. And then they'll start, opening and being actually operated. The activities of the town council are being expanded. We're taking on the tribunal, a visitor experience manager, moving into the small hall downstairs to liberate some Dunstans. And so we just have a busy programme helping make the town attractive and exciting to visitors. There is our whole response to the climate emergency, which is everything from playing our part in reaching net zero to making sure we have plans in case things go wrong and we just need to respond to disasters of whatever sort. You don't have to read the newspapers too often to realise that does happen, and it could happen to us. There's the neighbourhood plan and our community review, just surveying the town and the residents to make sure we give them the town they want. That's the community review. The neighbourhood plan's been in development for a long time, but hopefully this year it'll go out to the public for a referendum and they'll get the backing of our residents. There's the whole negotiation between us and Somerset Council as they try and stave off bankruptcy, and we work out what we can take on of their many different services and assets. That's going to run and run, I suspect. And well, last but by no means least is our quest to win Britain in Bloom, following last year's triumphs in South West in Bloom. So keeping all that going is a lot. That's why we need 16 of us, town councillors, not to mention all the other support we have from staff and other allies. And that's what I pledge myself to take forward as best I can. It's also traditional for a mayor to have a mayoress, and I'd like to thank my partner Sarita, just here, who has graciously promised to be my mayoress. We've had many adventures together, the two of us, over the last 12 years, and I think the coming year will also be another adventure together. So I'd like to thank her for being my mayoress, and I look forward to doing things with her. And very lastly, the mayor has a charity, which is not a separate item on the agenda, but I would like my charity to be the same as Don Francesco's, the Glastonbury Mental Health Trust. Glastonbury has quite a positive, sparkly reputation, but I think we all know there's a lot of suffering in the town as well. Mental health incidents, and I would just like to help do what I can to support that particular charity, Glastonbury's Mental Health Network. So thank you once again for your trust, for the honour and for the opportunity you've given me.
Great.
Yes. So we'll proceed with the meeting. Councillor Cousins.
Your Worship, just a point of order.
Sure.
As you've selected such an excellent charity, I must tell the council that I am a trustee of the Glastonbury Mental Health Network.
Sure. So we'll continue with the meeting. We have no less than 24 items on our agenda, so I'd like to crack on with it. The first thing is to elect the deputy mayor for the coming year. So do we have any nominations for deputy mayor? We have maybe 3 nominations. Do you want to make your nomination?
Okay, I would like to propose Paul Manning as Deputy Mayor. He has lived in this wonderful town a long time and knows and loves the community. I think he would do the job very well, and I believe also, by the way, that he will listen and consider carefully the environmental issues.
Councillor Henderson?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Michael White. Since being elected, Michael's been a very active member of the council in lots of committees and representing the council on the town deal board, and I think it would be an excellent deputy mayor for yourself.
Councillor Manning?
I would like to nominate Councillor Steve Henderson, who's been on this council for many years, has got a lot of experience, and I think it's about time he was mayor.
Thanks.
So it seems like... Sure.
Can we have seconders for those three nominations?
Yes, do we have seconders for the three nominations? Councillor Winnie Deagle?
Yes, I'm very happy to second Lindsay in nominating Paul Manning. My understanding with Paul is that he has worked very hard for this town for many, many, many years. In fact, he was the very first Citizen of the Year award person. And I consider that over the past 2 years, this council has worked very much as a group, that we don't necessarily go along party lines. We work together for the town, whether we are independent, green, blue, red, yellow, whatever. And so I feel very strongly that this community that we are as a council will be very strongly represented by Paul as Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Cook, you wanted to second somebody?
Yeah, I'd like to second Steve Henderson. For the
Thank you, Rick. Can I say something? Thanks, Rick.
Steve?
Thank you both for nominating me. This question has arisen quite a few times over the past few years, and it's always an honour to be nominated. I've always said in the past that I've been too busy to give the job my full attention, or the attention it needs, and I would like to say that I think that is still the case for maybe another year. I've still got a lot to do. I'm still involved in the business over there, and I think thanks very much, Paul, but I think this year I'll decline. Thanks.
Thank you. So we've had three nominations and 2 seconds. Would anyone wish to second Councillor White? Councillor Much? Do you want to say?
Right? Oh, do you want to say anything?
Say why.
Sorry, I think, just I do apologise. Yeah. No, I think I've got disagreements with Mike about some things, but we discussed them very frankly. And I think that his background in particularly the green aspects of working in the Pacific and the turtle projects and being a leading authority on that, and his global warming knowledge and experience gives a good green dimension to his credibility in that role, which I think is extremely significant in this age. Not much else more important, since the environment is where we all live, regardless of political affiliation. So, notwithstanding the disagreements we've had in some areas, I think you make a good deputy mayor and
thank you.
Subsequent mayor, possibly.
So we've had 2 nominations proposed and seconded. Councillor Manning, are you willing to do the job if you're elected?
Yes.
And Councillor White?
Yes, I am if elected.
So I think we have a choice at this point between a secret ballot or a show of hands. Which would we prefer?
Secret ballot.
Secret ballot. So I'm going to ask the town clerk to organise that.
So if I may.
Do you want to pass them in both directions?
I'm going to. You could take one, Nick, and pass it along. Yeah. Pass it along. Everyone should get a sheet of paper.
So we can vote for who we wish, and then the town clerk will gather them up and count them.
Councillor Manning or Councillor White. And then hold it up in the air.
I need to.
Paper.
So we'll give the town clerk a minute or so to count them, and he will announce the totals, I guess.
Thank you, Your Worship. So there are 16 councillors present. I received 16 valid votes. And congratulations to Councillor White, who was elected Deputy Mayor with 9 votes to 7.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So you could now adjourn to the Mayor's Parlour and then re-enter suitably adorned. We can sit down. Can't keep you away. You got your glasses?
Yes.
Thank you for your words, kind words. Thank
That's
you.
all right. I was on more actually.
It's a long agenda.
I said you're going to keep him on his toes.
Right.
That's it.
Doing all right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they would probably do the mace bit around the mayor. Is that you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well done. Yeah. Never ending. Probably a hard year. Yeah, unless you followed up with bowls or pencil or double yellows or whatever. Yeah.
So if you wanted to, you probably were going to anyway. But just,
Oh,
Yeah.
Steve, we know to nominate you next year then.
Exactly, I heard that. Did we all hear that?
We did all hear that.
Yeah, we all hear that.
We heard that.
Steve.
Yeah.
Deputy.
And it said,
yeah, you've got out of it for far too long, Steve.
We've been trying for years, Steve.
throw it and it'll stick one day.
Sorry about that.
You're going to have to play your...
You have plenty of time.
Know that.
That's what I'm saving you all from.
9 dictator comes out. I don't need that. This. Yes, that's this one, isn't it?
can I mention one thing while we're waiting? I'll mention one thing while we're waiting, which is once the Mayor's chaplain and the mace bearers have been appointed, we're going to take a break for photographs. And we never did a photograph of the full town council 2 years ago when we got elected. So what I'd like to do is take the break to photograph the Mayor and Deputy Mayor and the mace bearers, but also all of us. So it will be a bit of disruption. We'll all go downstairs. We'll do it on the steps of the main town hall. And then we'll come back for the business part of the meeting, which is all the committees and stuff. So I hope that's okay. We probably haven't dressed up in our finest, but nevertheless, we will have a group photo. Councillor Don Francesco. I'm not sure this is working. Testing, testing.
If we're working, you're working, Your Worship.
Very quiet. Maybe you need to be.
I'll speak louder.
He's going to do it. He's promised he'll do that.
Okay.
Sorry, what I was going to ask was, we have speakers.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We've got 5 speakers, but I'm not sure they're all here. But we'll find out when we get there. Not working.
That one wasn't working.
Okay.
Is yours?
Testing, testing.
Your Worship, if you have a green light on the side of it, then you're on.
Yeah. All right, I'll just speak louder. Testing, testing. Oh, quick.
Oh yay, oh yay, oh yeah. Mr. Mayor, town councillors, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the new Deputy Mayor of Glastonbury, Councillor Michael White. Long may Glastonbury flourish.
The heavy old things. Whoops. Justice.
Justice to fall.
Welcome, and would you like to say a few words before we proceed?
Thank you.
Sit down while he does that.
Yeah, please sit down.
Yes.
So thank you very much for electing me. As Lokabandu says, I'll do my best, help the community as best I can. I've got a lot of knowledge, a lot of information to help people. I enjoy the committee work, and I'm a regular attender. You know, I'm in the high street most days. So thank you, and please just come and talk to me.
So thank you, everybody. We will proceed to appoint the Mayor's chaplain for the year. I've already mentioned the chaplaincy, who I'd like to work with, but I also appointed a more personal chaplain, who's a long-standing personal friend of mine, Jai Raja, sitting here. He is a fellow member of the order, the Buddhist order I'm part of. He lives not far away, a wonderful place called Alfoxton Park, listed building where Wordsworth used to live, and we are old friends, and I trust him implicitly. Would you like to say a word before we proceed? Fantastic. Okay, moving onwards to appoint the mace bearers for the coming year. I am delighted that we have Terry and Rosie as the 2 mace bearers for the council. Terry has served as mace bearer for 14 years, I believe. It's going to be 15 before long. I was thinking mayors come and go, quite frankly. Mayors come and go, even councils come and go, but mace bearers can last a long time. And Rosie only began yesterday. So she's a brand new mace bearer. I'm really delighted she's agreed. And I really welcome Rosie as a mace bearer.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we will now take a bit of a break for photographs in the traditional manner, I believe, downstairs. First of all, I think a little group photo of us with the mace bearers and the town crier, but then all of us, the town 16 town council. Is that okay? Members of the public, you're really welcome to stay or leave as you choose. But the first item after we reconvene will be representations from members of the public who registered to speak. And I can see a few of you here, and you'll be welcome to speak after we reconvene. Okay? We go this way. Thank you.
Are you doing the big group first or the young?
I don't really, but I'll go in.
because then no one can hear anything.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll see. It's a long way off, isn't it?
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome. So if you think I've forgotten anything at any point, feel free to whisper.
I'm sure that could be a goal, but at the school.
Yeah, no, I've got some. Yeah.
Somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, actually, I was going to stick all in the fridge, but here we are. Penguin or tear it apart. You've probably got milk in them.
Oh, yes, they have. They've definitely.
Sorry.
Go and get it now.
Oh, Chris not making milk. This is allowed.
Okay, so welcome back, all of us. Welcome back.
No dinner tonight.
I did actually have fish and chips.
Oh.
Michael and I went over to
Lindsay, that's not allowed.
What?
Soups, that's not.
Is it not allowed?
So, councillors, order, order, order. Councillors, we will continue with public participation. Councillor Don Francesco, sit down.
Oh, God.
Because I think they probably would have that.
Of course it is.
So there's
I'd like to call us to order again and invite Emma King to speak to us on Glastonbury Pride. Emma, 3 minutes if you don't mind.
Oh, sorry? 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it will take too long. So yeah, I've just mainly come on behalf of the Glastonbury Pride Committee to notify you that we're going to be having our third Glastonbury Pride, which will be on Sunday, the 28th of July. And our theme is Unity Through Diversity, which I think fits very well with your theme as well, Mayor. So yeah, that's quite a coincidence. So essentially, at the moment, we haven't got the entire thing mapped out. In fact, we're having a meeting now, which I'm not at because I'm here. But we hope to be starting about 10 a.m. We'll be in the Queen of Cups having a brunch, and then from midday onwards, we should be in the Market Cross. With various bits of entertainment. I don't think we're going to have the radio this year. I think it's just going to be like a gazebo and a speaker and so on, because it took up a lot of space. So we'll have various things. Obviously, we've got Dragon Drummers, Morris Dance, there's various other things happening then. The march will lead off about 1 o'clock, and the things at the Market Cross will probably stay till about 2. And then we're hoping to bring the march. We don't know exactly, but we're hoping we might bring the march all the way up and round, and then bring it back down, and then hopefully we will be somewhere after that, and we're thinking it might be St Benedict's Church, but we haven't fully decided that yet. So the whole event should end about 6 o'clock. So obviously we're going to be doing it as a protest, so clearly we won't be expecting to have a road closure. So one of the reasons why I've obviously come to speak to you about it is because we know that the Town Council has been very supportive of the previous 2 Pride events that we've had in town, and recognise that Pride is very important for the LGBT community, especially in light of the homophobia and transphobia that has happened in town over recent months. And especially in rural areas, and I believe this is one of the smallest prides in the country and the smallest towns, because the community is obviously very spread out, and it's very good to be able to bring people together and to have good visibility in town, and to be able to show that there's a very strong queer presence in town and the surrounding area. So my request really to the Town Council is that I would like it if you could please put this on the agenda for next month, because clearly July is quite soon. And some of the things that we would like to ask about is, obviously last year we had high-vis jackets and walkie-talkies from the Town Council, so we would like to be able to use those again. And I know that you have Susanna Clemence's pedestrians in road signs somewhere, and we will need those. And we've got 4 places houses where they can be located, and they will put them out on the night before. But obviously we need those back. Do you know where they are?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, that's great. So the other thing is obviously flying the Pride flag. I know in the previous couple of years that's been done. Obviously, if that could be done at the very least for the 28th of July, but if it could be done for the whole of the month, that would be wonderful. And I'd like to request that this could be a permanent thing, and that every July the Pride flag is flown, rather than us having to ask every year. And if it was possible to have a progress flag rather than just a Pride flag, that would be even better, because that obviously includes the trans element on the flag, which is one area which has had particular persecution in town. And
We would also like to ask, I know that in one of the first pies that we had, I know that Councillor Cousins said to us that there may be the availability of some money, some funding for the council. I know what's going on financially, so clearly we understand the situation, but it could be possible that maybe the town council could buy something for Pride that we need, like, for example, something small, maybe like whistles or so on. There's one last thing. I also would like to know if there's any way that any of the town council insurance would cover our public liability. Otherwise, it costs us 120 odd pounds, and we've only got about 300. So, so that is basically it. Thank you very much for listening.
So thank you. Councillor Cousins wants to speak. I just mentioned that it'd be great if you could come to our ACE meeting, Arts, Culture and Events, and I think the next one is the 22nd of May, which is where we discuss all the details of all these
I
events.
personally am not going to be here on the 22nd of May, but I will talk to when I go to the meeting now and see if somebody else can come to that, because I know that last year Soman and Martin did attend those.
22nd of May.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Cousins.
Is that here?
That's here, Your Worship. You
I'm not
read
sure
my mind, so it is here on the 22nd, starts at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
They've been before they know about it.
Martin and Sam are not involved this year, though.
Okay, well, whoever.
Okay, I'll
And then
note of that. So.
we'll make any recommendation we can towards the town council.
Brilliant, thank you. That's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is Edward Hurd here to speak on the plant-based treaty? Nope. Peter Eade wants to speak about an ongoing planning issue with neighbour. So, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Worship. Thank you for this opportunity. May I first off congratulate you on your position as mayor now. My name is Peter Eade. I live at 5 Chickwell Street, corner of Dodd Lane and 5 Chickwell Street. And I'd like to update you on the situation we have with our neighbour. The position is, regarding our neighbour, is there's a continuing residence used in the land behind 3 Chickwell Street, despite him having no planning permission for residential use and despite him failing to attempt this. As discussed before, our neighbour has effectively setting up a dangerous precedent here and could have wide-ranging impact on the town and planning authorities as they continue to take no enforcement action. As you recall from our further situation, the last time we spoke, the council had advised him that his residential use was unlawful, but instead of taking enforcement action, they invited him to submit a retrospective planning permission. We all objected to this, and rather than enforcing again, they advised him to withdraw the application, which he did. Then on October 2023, we learned that he had submitted an application for a certificate of lawfulness in regards to this residential use of an octagon and the timber-built structure. We launched our objections to this again and again. Rather than taking enforcement action, the council advised our neighbour that their intention was to refuse the application, allowing our neighbour to withdraw his application. I have the emails here with all this information on. Then on the 5th of January, we were advised that the council had concluded that no enforcement breaches have occurred, so they would be taking no enforcement action. On seeking further clarification of this and why that was the situation, I was advised that the legal precedent, Gravesham Council, where someone has claiming a noisy neighbour had made an unlawful change to the use of a house into a disco. This was rejected on the basis that the building was still a residential house because it still had all the proper amenities for human occupation. It appears that the council stood this agreement on its head, taking the view as to the structure in question at 3 Chickwell Street do not have any characteristics required to satisfy the legal requirement set out in this judgment. Then these are not dwellings, and so planning laws cannot be enforced. This seems a bizarre situation, the implication being that planning laws does not apply to structures that do not satisfy basic human living requirements for hygiene and safety. My next plan is to raise this as an unenforcement case with the planning ombudsman. And I wonder if the town council situation has changed, and might I quote a view from the town council on this case? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry to hear about the dispute with a neighbour.
Always a problem, yeah.
I think our powers in this area are very limited. Councillor Henderson?
Thank you. When you mentioned the council and enforcement, I presume you're talking about Somerset Council.
It was amended and now it's Somerset.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously, this council has, as you know, because of meetings, we've got limited powers, but we are lucky to have the chair of East Planning Committee here. So I think you need to take the floor, Nick.
Yeah, Pete knows me, and we're ongoing, so don't worry about that.
But I think enforcement needs to be sort of G'd up first.
I'll be honest. I'm in full agreement with Pete and the other neighbours on this one, and I'm attempting to G them up, and we're still waiting on a sensible reply from something.
It does seem to be ongoing, and the replies seem to be really.
Yeah, so but we'll get there. But there are definite problems there.
Okay.
No getting away from it.
Anyway,
it's an information really that we do intend to take to the Ombudsman.
Thank you for the update. Yes. We've got two more speakers, but I'm not sure they're here. Chris Black and Paul Weston.
No, Paul's gone.
Councillor Smythe?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just advice to Mr. Reid, if you could bring this to the planning next Tuesday,
Yes.
John, we can spend more time on it.
I will do indeed. Thank you.
Councillor Cook?
Yeah, can I ask that, it's very complex what he's talking about on this, so we need to see information, like letters like you're proposing, etc.
Sure.
So we need anything that we can actually sit down, look at, read, digest, and make a decision.
Okay.
Otherwise,
I'm
we're just
happy to leave
throwing
you
in the air.
these emails that I've received and highlighted the decisions that Somerset has made about this.
So by all means leave that, and either Councillor Cook or Anderson can look at it afterwards. Is that all right?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
So I'd like to move on. We haven't had, Chris Black is not here, and Paul Weston was here, but he's left.
He's gone, yeah.
So that's the end of public participation. I'd like to, did you want to say something?
I'm just going to go quick move.
Okay, fine. So I would like to invite Rosie, our new mace bearer, if she'd be willing to light the unity candle as part of her inauguration. And then we'll stand for a silent minute and then proceed. That's it. So maybe stand for a minute. Thank you, everyone. So moving on to receive apologies for absence. I don't think there is any absence. Apologies.
All in the room, Your Worship. There are no apologies for absence.
Fantastic. Declarations of interest.
These, Your Worship, only need to be declarations not already made to the monitoring officer.
So are there any new declarations of interest? Councillor Cousins has already made one. Any new declarations of interest? Councillor...
Street Parish Council, Your Worship.
Great. So to approve and sign the minutes of the last meeting.
Thank you, Your Worship. I can project them. They were circulated in advance of the meeting, and I will make them appear by magic.
So these are the minutes of the 9th of April. There we go, yep. So page 84 being the present page. Page 8,
I just want to give a big thank you to the town clerk for getting the toilets opening in St John's car park, because that's much appreciated by all the cafes in the town, that those toilets are now open and functioning. And I know he had quite a job with Ivy Verdi, but I know that he persisted and got there. So big thank you.
Thank you. Page 85. Page 85, yep. Anything on page 85? Page 86. Page 86, resolutions. Page 87, planning committee. Page 88. Yeah. Page 89. Page 90, and we're nearly there. And page 91 is very short. Are you happy for me to sign the minutes?
Aye.
Will suffice. Thank you very much. Oh, let's go. Okay, thanks.
Is that your pen or is that my pen?
Oh, I think it might be your pen.
I think it is my pen. We'll keep on.
Thank you. So, update on actions from the last meeting.
Thank you, Your Worship. I will just get them on the screen. So at the last meeting, councillors agreed to have a prostate cancer blood testing event in the town hall. Preparations for that are going ahead, and the town hall manager is liaising with the group who are organising that. The Community Review Steering Group had its first meeting and is now set up, raring to go to complete that funded project by November. The responsible finance officer and myself are investigating employing the services of an expert to advise us on a financially efficient way to run the information centre and the Tribunal Museum. We haven't appointed anyone yet, but that will probably come to a future meeting for consideration. And the other operational decisions that were agreed at the meeting have either taken place or are in progress, Your Worship. So that's the update that I have for you this evening.
Thank you. Any questions on that? I could mention one other update, which is we've had an ongoing project to add more boulders to Stone Down Lane up on the Tor to stop the illegal parking and mess making up there. That was done on Saturday, a very effective joint operation between Ian Tucker, myself, Paul Manning, Somerset Highways and the Carnival Club. all had to come together to do the road closure, the signing, and the actual work. But it's done, and I think illegal parking will be a lot less up there.
Thanks. Well done on that work. But there's a farm at the top of Wick Hollow. Merv Squires has farmed that with his family for a long, long time. And he mentioned to me on Saturday that because of the boulders stopping people parking at the foot of the Tor on Stone Down, they're actually now drifting into Wick Hollow, and they're on that bend where his farm is, and now people are parking there, which, apart from being a bit of an annoyance, when haymaking, etc. starts and trailers come around there, that'll make it almost impossible for them to get around that corner. So unfortunately, the problem has moved a little bit. So we might have to address that at some point.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to appoint the internal auditor for 24-25 and note the external auditor for 24-25.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is an annual exercise for the Town Council. The responsible finance officer and myself would like to recommend that you appoint Pro Business Limited to conduct our internal audit, and our external audit is appointed nationally for our area, and that is PKF Littlejohn LLP. So if I could have a proposer, seconder and a vote taken to appoint Pro Business Limited and to note PKF Littlejohn, I'd be very much appreciative.
Councillor Don Francesco and Cousins.
I'll propose using Pro Business.
I will second, Your Worship.
All those in favour? All those against? Any abstentions? Oh, that was against, Councillor Cook.
No, I was just waving it on.
I think it's unanimous. It looked like a vote. To appoint signatories to the Town Council's bank accounts.
So, Your Worship, again, this is an annual agenda item. I spoke with the responsible finance officer today and have been in quite some length because we are in the process of changing our banking arrangements. Now, it's not something that legally the Town Council has to do every year. It does not have to change its signatories every year. It's something that this Council does. The responsible finance officer and myself would like Council to consider referring this to the Finance and General Purposes Committee that meet in July, because by then we should have all of the new accounts up and running, and we didn't want to go through the process of changing signatories and then have to do it again when we have new bank accounts. So if that's agreeable, if I can have a proposer and a seconder to refer it to Finance and General Purposes and a vote, I'd be very appreciative.
Councillor Cousins. And then
I'm happy to
Smythe.
propose what the clerk just said.
I can second.
Okay. Any other proposals? All those in favour? I think that's unanimous again. Thank you, Evelyn. So to review and adopt our standing orders and code of conduct.
So, Your Worship, neither of these items have been revised at all. We did a big exercise last year to review standing orders, and last year, or perhaps actually the year before, was the first year we appointed the Local Government Association model code of conduct for Somerset, which the Somerset Association of Local Councils were very keen that every town and parish council had the same code of conduct. So neither of these items have been changed, but they are again something that we have to approve and adopt each year. So if I could have a proposer and a seconder, first to accept and adopt standing orders, and then secondly to accept and adopt the code of conduct as a separate vote, I'd be very appreciative.
Councillor Cottle.
Yeah, I'm proposing. Yeah.
And Councillor Smythe seconding for the standing orders, I guess. All those in favour? And against? And abstaining? That's unanimous, I think. And for the code of conduct? How about Councillor Don Francesco and Price? Very good. All those in favour? And against? And abstaining? I think that's also unanimous. Okay, so the next one is a bit more decisions to take. It's all our subcommittees, of which there are many. And we just need to consider their terms of reference and appoint the members. And then we appoint the chair at the first meeting of each, chair and deputy chair, first meeting of each. So do we do the terms of reference first or one by one?
Thank you, Your Worship. Well, it is up to you how you wish to go through it. I thought if you took it committee by committee and did both terms of reference, quite a lot of them haven't actually changed. There's only a couple of them that I'm proposing a couple of slight tweaks to, and when we get to those items on the agenda, I will, of course, speak to those. But the Property and Assets Committee terms of reference have not changed. So if you'd like to take a vote to adopt its terms of reference and then to consider its membership.
So we'll go through it committee by committee. Councillor Cottle.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to ask a question on this because as I'm getting better, so to speak, health-wise, I'm thinking that maybe in July and August I'll be able to attend a lot more meetings. But I don't want to necessarily be a member of those committees. That's allowed, isn't it, in our constitution here?
So, Councillor Cottle, yes, in all of the terms of reference, councillors who are non-members can attend meetings but have no, obviously, voting rights and no right to speak unless invited by the chair. But you can attend committee meetings that you're not a member of. But if you're planned to do that, please make the clerk aware, because sometimes it can cause some confusion when councillors were not expecting to turn up in the room. But that isn't a problem at all, and that's in all of the terms of reference for committees.
Thank you.
Standing orders.
That was the question I needed to ask because I'm on the mend.
So I've got Councillor Cousins and then Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm sure the clerk will correct me if I'm wrong, but also councillors who are not members of a committee can be actually co-opted onto that committee during committee meeting if the committee so wishes.
They can indeed, yes. Thank you, Councillor Cousins.
That's your point. Okay. So great. Continue getting better and please come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Councillor Smiley.
I'd like to propose that we adopt terms of reference for the Property and Ethics Committee and welcome the seconder and anybody who wishes to be a member.
Seconder. Councillor Henderson seconding. So who would like to be on the Property and Assets Committee? Do you want us to go round or what?
Could you first, Your Worship, take a vote on that proposal and then raise hands, and I'll read out people's names as I note them down for membership of the committees.
Move to vote.
Move to vote on terms of reference for property and assets. All those in favour? All those against? All those abstaining? Motion, unanimous?
Thank you.
So who would like to be on it? Do you want us to say our names or what?
If you could say your names and then put your hand down, I can note everyone and not miss anyone.
So start with me, Loka Bandu.
Thank you.
LB, I'm not hearing you, I'm afraid.
I would like to be on the committee. Property and assets.
Oh, property and assets, okay.
We're going to go round.
White.
Smythe.
Boney Dougal.
Price.
Cousins.
Osborne.
Henderson.
And Cottle.
Cool. Finance and General Purposes Committee. Terms of reference.
These have not, they have not changed substantively, Your Worship. I updated them to reflect that we now meet in July and December rather than July and November.
Councillor Cousins.
I propose that we accept the amendments and adopt the terms of reference, and note that the chair of the Finance and General Purposes Committee is traditionally the Deputy Mayor.
Anyone seconding that? Councillor Henderson. Move to vote on the revised terms of reference. Any against? Any abstentions? That's carried. So who would like to be on?
We would like to be on.
Would like to be on it.
Finance.
So again, myself, Loka Bandu.
White.
Boney Dougal.
Cousins.
Henderson.
And Cottle.
Cool. The Staffing Committee.
So if I may, Your Worship, there has been a slight change to these terms of reference. The Staffing Committee at its last meeting proposed a recommendation to full council that the retiring member of the Staffing Committee, which is, so the Staffing Committee is comprised of the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor, the immediate previous Mayor and 2 councillors. So theoretically every year the immediate previous Mayor is the member that retires. So the staff and committee wanted to propose that in their standing orders they have the option to co-opt the immediate previous mayor who would otherwise be retiring into an advisory non-voting position, Your Worship. So that's the change to the terms of reference. If you'd like to look at the actual wording, give me just a second. They are in alphabetical order rather than meeting order.
I think the purpose was simply to keep more experience available to the committee.
So highlighted in green, Your Worship, not very helpful for those viewing it on the screen. Let me change the text colour. In addition, the retiring previous municipal year's mayor shall remain a non-voting member of the committee. That's the change, Your Worship.
Any questions? Any proposals? Question?
This doesn't seem to be a change. You describe that, so it's going to Indra.
There'll be two previous mayors. In this case, Indra and John. And then next year, whoever.
It could potentially present a change, Councillor Smythe. There could be instances where it wouldn't. So, for example, if you had the current mayor, the current deputy mayor, the immediate previous year's mayor, so for this coming year, that would be Councillors Locobandu, White and Don Francesco. And if the committee kept the two other councillors, which at present are yourself, Councillor Smythe and Councillor Oakton, that would mean that Councillor Cousins is no longer sitting on the committee. With this change, there is the option for Councillor Cousins as the retiring previous mayor to stay on the committee in a non-voting capacity.
Thank you. Therefore, it should be, as you quoted, the retiring previous
Well, yeah, so I put retiring previous municipal year's mayor, but yes, if you want me to repeat the word previous, I will do that, but I don't believe it's good grammar. But
Councillor Cousins.
As long as you put a comma in there, kind of fine.
Let me do that now then, Councillor.
Your Worship, I just for my own sanity, I wonder whether we should be clear and say remain a non-voting member of the committee for one further year.
Yeah, one term. Yeah.
Are we happy to propose that and second it? Councillor Don Francesco. Councillor Oakton seconding. Moving to vote. All those in favour? All those against? All those abstaining? Carried. And the membership is fixed, so we've done that.
So, Your Worship, it's not actually fixed.
Oh, there's
part of the membership, part of the membership is fixed. However, there are now two vacancies on that committee.
So then, do we have proposals for the two members of the committee? Councillor Smythe, Rainer Dougal and Cousins.
I suppose Councillor Henderson is on the staffing committee for the next year.
Councillor Rainer Dougal.
I would like to propose John Cousins as a voting member of the committee rather than just an advisory role.
Councillor Cousins.
Well, Your Worship, I would rather be in an advisory role and not vote. But thank you, Serena. I wonder, Your Worship, whether we need to first establish whether the existing councillors who have been on the committee wish to remain on there before we asking other councillors to step forward.
Councillor Smythe and Oakton, would you like to stay? You would like to stay.
I'm happy to stand aside, Councillor Henderson. I wish to take.
You carry on, mate. You carry on.
Not getting away that easy.
Excuse me. Having said that, if Mike does want to stand aside, I'm quite happy to take his place.
So are you standing up or standing down?
Okay, that's good. We're all happy.
So then I think the proposal is Councillor Oakton remains, and there is a vacancy, and there's been a proposal for Councillor Henderson. Are there any other proposals?
I'd like to second the proposal of Councillor Henderson.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other proposals of the people? So we move to vote on Councillor Henderson. At the vote. That is against, abstaining, So that's carried unanimously, Councillor Henderson and Oakton.
Thank you.
Cool, great. The Planning Committee.
So, Your Worship, I have not changed the substance of the terms of reference. I slightly tidied up the wording because it was a set of terms of reference that seemed to, over the years, get a bit messy. However, the important part of the terms of reference is item number 2, the function. So please do feel free to read through it. I've not changed the substance. I've made it, in my opinion, read a bit better. A bit easier to understand.
So are we happy with the slightly tidied up terms of reference? Councillor Cousins?
So I just wish for a bit of clarity as during my first year as a member of the Planning Committee, myself and some other councillors were called in front of the Standards Officer because we had considered but hadn't commented, I don't think, on a site near the town, near the town council property. So I don't know whether Councillor Henderson, who I think was also dragged in front of this, has anything to add to that, or if my memory doesn't serve me well.
Thank you, John. I think at the time, I think we did maybe consider it as a normal application. I think we may have even voted on it. But I was going to ask, when it says consider but not comment on, that seems to be quite a difficult thing to do. So how would you explain that? Does it mean we can read it and think about it, but at the meeting itself we can't actually comment on it?
Councillor Roney Dougal and then Town Clerk. Go on. Oh, sorry, Councillor McDougall.
Yes, I get a bit frustrated that we can't discuss it in the meeting, and I think we should be able to discuss it because we are allowed to comment as individuals. I think it's useful to talk about it in the meeting, but to not officially comment because we...
That was my understanding, Your Worship. Councillors and councillors alike, as well as members of the public, are entitled to make representations as members of the public. If the committee were not to consider any application on an adjoining site, but a member of the public had a concern and wished to speak to it, theoretically it wouldn't be on the agenda. So, as I say, this was the set of terms of reference that was in place for last year. I just tidied it up a little bit. It does say that a dispensation is required if you do wish to make a formal comment, but I was also of the opinion that it's important to at least consider the applications and have an option to review the information in a planning committee meeting, even if you choose not to make any comment whatsoever.
Henderson?
I completely hear the logic of what's being said, but when we sit in this chamber, we aren't members of the public, we're town councillors, and I think that there's a grey area there, and it is in the perception of the general public which relates to standards, not in our own personal intent. Would there be merit, Your Worship, in the clerk just double checking with county council's advisors to see that we are definitely able to consider if we don't comment?
Councillor Henderson, and
Thank you, Chair. I agree with John, but I would just say if the situation did arise at a planning meeting, I think providing the chair made it known that we were considering this, but we were aware that the application in question was near the council land or whatever, and explained the situation and was quite clear about that, and we knew what we were doing, and that should be enough. But I think checking wouldn't hurt.
I just want to add something. I think it's particularly frustrating when we've been members of planning board and we've got a bit of expertise to share if we can't discuss it and share. And it doesn't have to be written down officially. I think that's the important thing. the official comment is different to
Sure.
a discussion.
Got Councillor Cook and then Councillor Cottle.
Was this hauling up business about the development opposite Hervey's Field that we were talking about? Well, this, you know, it's our land there, we're overlooking it, you're overlooking us. So why can't we comment?
Just to reply to that, if I remember rightly, it was a discussion about land adjacent to Hervey's Field. The agent for that particular applicant was sat in the audience and we didn't know, and he reported us.
So, yeah, go on.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to come back on that because in my other role, which takes up most of my time or life, I would like to see Glastonbury Town Council definitely having conversations about land that is within, which is reasonably close. I see nothing wrong with that. And I don't see anything wrong with you sending a person to a committee at Somerset to put the town council's opinion across. I can't see that would be wrong, because we have it from all sorts of people and parishes as well. So I don't really see where the problem is.
So what we need to do now is agree the terms of reference. I think there's a proposal that we change the wording, but ask Connor to double check. Councillor McDougall?
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, if we go and speak in the public gallery or whatever it's called, planning board, then we should make clear that we have an interest when we speak.
Yeah, sure. So am I right, there's a proposal, we adopt this, but ask Connor to double check before we finally adopt it?
If I may, Your Worship, yes, I think the administratively easiest way of doing this is to delegate the actual agreement of the terms of reference to the planning committee itself, subject to myself having got clarification from Somerset Council and taking it to the next available planning committee, probably not your May meeting, maybe the June meeting. After having checked that with Somerset Council's planning department or democratic services or monitoring officer, the monitoring officer, whoever they wish me to check it with. So you can propose that and then also take the membership this evening.
So are we happy to do that? Yes. Councillor Smythe? Councillor Cousins?
I'm quite happy to second that we recommend take the clerk's recommendation on the proviso that if we discover that we are able to consider but not comment, could we give that its own section and call it the les function?
So moving to vote on Connor's revised wording. We can tweak it further in planning. Moving to vote? Sorry. Do we delegate? Sure. Yes. I do apologise, you're quite right. Yeah. I do apologise, you're quite right.
Don't forget the new heading.
Moving to vote on that. All those in favour? All those against? All those abstaining? It's unanimous again. So who would like to be on the planning committee? Again, we'll go round.
Yes, please, thank you.
Lokabandu?
Tony Dougal.
Cousins.
Henderson.
Great.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That was probably one of the more complicated ones.
Can I be on planning?
Oh, Councillor Much as well.
Your Worship, I think you will need to speak up.
Okay,
for some of our members.
Okay, I'm sorry. Glastonbury in Bloom Committee. Terms of reference and membership.
They remain the terms of reference remain unchanged, Your Worship.
Are we happy to stick with that? All those in favour? Yes. All those against? All those abstaining?
I check who proposed and seconded, sorry, Your Worship, I wasn't watching.
I'm happy to propose.
Councillor White and Don Francisco proposing and seconding. Who would like to be on the Glastonbury in Bloom Committee? Lokabandu?
Cousins.
Oakton and Cousins.
we on now?
Thank you.
Okay.
That was Glastonbury in blue.
Oh, sorry, can I come in later?
Yeah, they come along.
Councillor Much.
Roof garden, thank you. Oh, sorry.
So the youth committee, the youth committee,
Youth committee.
youth committee, terms of reference.
I believe they're unchanged, Your Worship. I will just give them a quick scoot over for any of my green highlighting. No, they are unchanged, Your Worship.
Are we happy to propose and second the terms of reference of the youth committee? Who would like to propose? Councillor Price proposing, Councillor Oakton seconding. Moving to vote on the youth committee. All those in favour? Put your hand up again. I think that is all those. I think that's unanimous again. Who would like to be on the youth committee?
Youth committee.
Youth committee. Loka Bandu.
Yep.
White.
In that.
I was it.
Cousins.
Anyone else on the youth committee? Youth committee going, gone. Great. The resilience committee.
No, Your Worship, may I speak to this one?
So this one is going to change, apparently. The resilience committee.
So based on feedback from members of the committee and members of council and staff, one thing I would like to propose, well, I can't propose an idea, but raise an idea in order to focus the work of the resilience committee, which really its terms of reference state that it has decision-making powers over the town council's carbon neutral declaration to be carbon neutral by 2030. Now, Romeo and Juliet, what's in a name? There's actually quite a lot in a name. So I was actually going to propose that the Resilience Committee changed its name. You may wish to not go with this name, but to focus its efforts on reaching carbon neutrality by 2030. I wanted to float the idea to council whether actually you wanted to change the name to the 2030 committee. So every time you're talking about it, really focuses the mind that that is what it's focusing on. I changed some of the wording in the functions because it was previously net zero, change it to carbon neutrality. The rest of the terms of reference, other than tidying up wording and making them more concise, are unchanged. So, Your Worship, I'll float that idea and let you take comments from the floor.
I've got several people. I've got Councillor Cousins, Don Francesco and Smythe.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Oh, sit down. Councillor Cousins first.
The thing.
Oh, sorry. I'll speak louder. Councillor Cousins.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Perhaps you should say councillors individually at one go, then we won't know that we're a little confused. I think that the suggestion from the town clerk is very good. 2030 has a ring to it and is a much better number than 1922, I must say. Perhaps we could adopt that change.
Don Francesco?
I'd like to speak against that suggestion. Thank you. Partly because of the misunderstanding of certain readers of a certain magazine that's been rife in this town. And I don't want any more misunderstanding. So I'd rather have it discreetly called the Resilience Committee so that we don't attract unwanted attention.
Councillor Don Francesco?
I kind of disagree with that because I think we should be out, we should be proud, and we should really shy away from that. And when have we ever not wanted to have any attention? So no, I would say that we need to stick to that. Thank you.
Lindsay?
Well, Frome Town Council is always a good one to watch, and they have a climate action group. So what am I proposing? Climate Action Committee.
Councillor Cousins?
No, just to reply, if I may. I think that the actions of this council are always under a great deal of scrutiny. and that we shouldn't be ashamed of the things that we've committed to.
So we do have a proposal to change the name by Councillor Cousins, I believe.
I just want to speak.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were agreeing. Sorry.
I'll propose anyway. But no, I wanted to go with Indra here and her comments because they're bang on the target. You're out, you pray, you stand up for what you want to stand up for, and too bad if somebody doesn't like it or whatever. You know?
I'm not sure I should say this really, but if we don't get to net zero by 2030, isn't that going to make it that much more embarrassing?
Right to reply. If we don't, every other council in Somerset appears to be abandoning its ideas of getting carbon neutral by 2050. The government itself has decided that it's okay for us to get maybe 2.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. Well, that will be a disaster and we will probably experience it. But if we don't, our children and our grandchildren definitely will experience the outcome of that disregard to the situation that we're in. So I think it's very important that this council attempts to meet its target, and we've made a declaration that we'll meet it by 2030. And if we fail, then we will have had a good go. But I can remember when Mendip District Council just gave up on any kind of action around the climate because it was too hard.
Councillor Osborne.
I'd just like to second what Mike said. I think there are a large number of people in this town who don't support carbon neutrality. That's a reality. And it's one thing being out and proud, it's another just winding up people and making things more broken than they already are.
So then we're not going to get into whole debates about this topic. We're just discussing the name of the committee and the terms of reference of the committee.
1922.
Councillor Manning?
Can I suggest that it's actually split into two? One is changing the name and the other is actually the wording.
Yeah. Lindsay?
Well, I'm going to go back to Frome Town Council, who do things, make their decisions in a completely different way to us. They have, I haven't looked at it in detail, but I know that they have cafe-style meetings alternated with more formal meetings, which means that all the community can come together, a bit like a people's assembly. And with the climate emergency, it is so important to bring all members of the community on board with what we do. It can't just be a small core of people making the decisions.
Right to reply?
Right to reply. The carbon neutrality only actually means the town hall and its environments. This isn't about trying to put it out there. So it's not actually, we're not imposing anything. We're just talking about what we own. And if anything, it's just being a bit of a beacon. So it's got nothing really to do with imposing anything.
Councillor Smythe?
Thank you. Just one more time. The actual naming of the committee doesn't negate its aims and objectives. The aims and objectives of the committee remain the same and very firmly so. The naming of the committee is a subtle thing, and I think there's no need to change it right now. Because resilience brings in all sorts of things like an emergency fund and other ideas. I think the focus will remain the same because the aims and objectives of that committee remain the same within the terms of reference.
Move to vote, Chair.
Are we ready to move to vote? I think we've aired the subject. So there's a proposal proposed by John to change the name, or follow Connor's suggestion to change the name. I don't think it's been seconded yet. Seconded.
Can I just check, is that proposal only in regard to the name or the name and terms of reference more widely, just so I get my notes correct?
Your Worship, I'm happy to defer to Councillor Manning's suggestion that it's to do with the name only, but I propose that we change the name to the 2030 committee. I'm sure my second is happy with that, and move to vote.
Okay, so moving to vote on that, changing the name to the 2030 committee. All those in favour?
So I've got, it's not a recorded vote, but just so I don't miss anyone, Councillor Henderson, Oakton, Cottle, Don Francesco, Much, Cousins, White,
All those against?
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against.
I think you missed you, Margaret.
All those abstaining? I'm abstaining. Abstentions? 3 abstentions. Does the numbers add up?
Yes, they do add up, so it's carried by 7 votes to 6 with 3 abstentions.
Okay. Thank you. Terms of reference for this committee?
I'd like to propose that we adopt the new wording, carbon neutrality.
Would anyone like to second that?
I'm seconding that.
Councillor Cousins seconding. Moving to vote on that. All those in favour is all those against, all those abstaining, 3 abstentions, I think. Okay. So that's carried with 3 abstentions.
Would you like to agree the membership now, Your Worship?
Oh, sorry, and membership, yes. Membership of the new 2030 committee.
White.
Just to clarify, this isn't a holiday.
No, it's not. But you'd like to be on it anyway. You'd like to be on it anyway.
I'll go for both counts, whether it is or.
Don Francesco.
Price.
Councillor Cousin.
Any other members of the 2030 committee?
God,
Okay.
I can't.
All right.
Be the 60-70 committee.
So moving on
Yourself.
rapidly, there's a lot of committees. The A361 committee.
This, Your Worship, is completely unchanged.
Would you like to propose and second the unchanged terms of reference A361?
Yeah, I propose.
Happy to second.
Councillor Smythe and Cousins proposing and seconding. Voting on the terms of reference.
Councillor Ronnie Dougal.
Okay,
Yes.
don't worry.
I did know that.
Voting on the terms of reference. For, against, abstentions.
Oh, yeah, I should
Carried.
abstain.
Okay. Who would like to be on the A361 committee?
A361 committee.
Who would like to be on it?
Yes.
So, Cottle,
Thank you.
Don Francesco.
Only Dougal.
Terry. Anyone else? Thank you, Reverend. The Staffing Subcommittee.
So this is a mere formality, Your Worship. This has the same membership as the staffing committee, but it's got the same terms of reference and the same membership. The difference between a committee and a subcommittee is a subcommittee is not bound by the same legislation of particularly 3 clear days notice, so it can meet much more swiftly, but it still has delegated powers to make decisions, and sometimes that is required. So it's just a formality there, Your Worship. If I can have a proposer and a seconder to adopt the terms of reference and the membership, which is exactly the same as that of the staffing committee, would be appreciative.
Councillor Henderson proposing. Don Francesco seconding. Moving to vote on the terms of reference of the subcommittee, staffing subcommittee.
And membership.
And the membership.
I thought membership was the same as that.
Oh,
It is, but what you're doing one vote to agree the terms of reference and the membership, because it's the same as the other committee.
very good. Okay. So all those in favour of that? Against? Abstentions? Carried unanimously. So that's done that one. That's done it. Great. St Dunstan's House Implementation Subcommittee.
Thank you, Worship. These terms of reference are unchanged.
I'm happy to propose this terms of reference. Mike seconding. Voting on the terms of reference of St Dunstan's House.
Can I just clarify, is this a subcommittee of the full council or property and assets?
Subcommittee of Property and Assets, Councillor Cousins.
So I think that was all those against or abstaining. So it's carried. Who would like to be on St Dunstan's House Project Implementation Subcommittee? Loka Bandu?
Right.
Point of clarity, do you have to be on the committee that the subcommittee's from? Be on the subcommittee, thank you.
Yeah, obviously.
He says you don't.
I don't believe you do.
Okay, carrying on round.
White.
Smythe.
Dougal.
Price.
Anyone else? Going, gone. St Dunstan's House. Ethical Banking and Investments Subcommittee.
This one, Your Worship, again, the terms of reference are unchanged. I did have a question in regard to this subcommittee. It's kind of sat there in the ether because it was never disbanded. It's done part of its work, and the responsible finance officer and I are recommending that actually you disband and close this subcommittee, and that the last little tidy up bits, particularly sorting out bank signatories and devising a proper investment strategy for the town council and its finances, that's actually really a function of finance and general purposes. So this subcommittee was established to do the detailed work and to look at alternative means of banking for the town council. It has done that, hasn't met in a long time. I don't actually think it met through 2023 nearly at all. So we're proposing that you close this subcommittee and that the responsible finance officer may bring the last little bits of work it needs to do to finance and general purposes.
Councillor Cousins?
I would like to propose what the clerk just said, Your Worship.
I'm happy to second it.
My only question is if this is closing, maybe we should have written in something about ethical banking to the Finance Committee terms of reference.
It does have banking in the terms of reference, and the decisions of the ethical banking subcommittee have been followed in as much as they possibly can in regard of banks actually wanting our business. But by all means, when finance and general purposes meet, if you wish to add in the word ethical, then you can propose that change back to full council. Is that a lot of admin for not very much gain? Yes, in my personal opinion. However, it is up to the committee if it wishes to do it.
Sure. Councillor Smythe?
Can we change the wording to suspend this committee?
Your Worship, point of order, we can always create a subcommittee out of a committee at any point. So if it was required again, we just very simply do that through the committee. I move to vote, Chair.
Moving to vote, okay. The motion being to close this committee.
Finalise
And
finance
tidy it
and
up.
general purposes.
So all those in favour of that? That is unanimous. That's one less committee to worry about. Great. So no membership for this, I guess?
No.
No membership?
No, because you've just closed it, Your Worship.
Okay. So the Town Hall Revenue Subcommittee. Town Hall Revenue Subcommittee.
This one, Your Worship, I didn't change the terms of reference. This subcommittee's work is probably not complete, so I wouldn't recommend that you close it at this point, but I think it needs to probably have one or two final meetings, and then its work will be followed on by the Property and Assets Committee. So terms of reference are unchanged. If I have a proposer and a seconder to adopt them, and then for you to take the membership, I'd be very much appreciative.
Councillor Cousins?
Happy, Your Worship, to propose we adopt the terms of reference unchanged.
Would anyone like to second that? Councillor Madding, great. Moving to vote on terms of reference of the Town Hall Revenue Subcommittee. Well, that's a unanimous, I think. Yeah, great. And membership of the Town Hall Revenue Subcommittee. Councillor
Francesca?
Present.
Four of us, okay. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to the Climate and Ecological Emergency Advisory Committee.
I believe terms of reference are unchanged, Your Worship. I think I tidied up the wording. I changed again the wording from net zero to carbon neutrality and gave it a bit more flexibility and added in and other relevant initiatives. So it now reads, this advisory committee can consider and make recommendations relating to the Council's climate and ecological emergency declarations, Town Council's strategy toward carbon neutrality by 2030, building our community's resilience, and other relevant initiatives.
Was there not a suggestion that we changed the type of committee, so it was more a working group, not officially part of the town hall?
No, don't change the title, for God.
Well, that's not necessarily coming from me. The town council could consider doing that. The advisory committee might wish to consider if it wishes to continue being an advisory committee with all of the admin, particularly officer time for that admin that goes along with it. But that's for council to decide.
Councillor Cousins?
Thank you, Your Worship. I think that we must be mindful that we've just changed the name of the Resilience Committee, so this will have to be amended in this document, which mentions Resilience Committee. I think that this advisory committee should continue to be an advisory committee. What I would like to ponder is whether or not the climate emergency resilience officer's time is best spent at this moment in time in clerking the committee, and whether or not we could get somebody else to clerk that committee.
So moving to vote on terms of reference of this. Have we got a proposer and a seconder for terms of reference of the climate?
Yeah, propose.
Individual proposing. Second. Persons seconding. Moving to vote. All those against? All those abstaining? So that's unanimous again. So who would like to be on the Climate and Ecological Emergency Advisory Committee?
Only Dougal.
Anyone else? Yeah, that's enough, is it?
It's enough in terms of councillors. It does obviously have members of the community are members of that as well.
Point of clarity, Your Worship, advisory committees don't have to have any councillors.
No, sure. Okay, only 5 to go. Get in there. Up to committees. The Arts, Culture and Events Advisory Committee. Terms of reference?
Unchanged, I believe, Your Worship.
So propose and second?
I'd like to propose that we adopt the unchanged terms of reference for this committee.
Seconded by Councillor Henderson. Moving to vote on the terms of reference. Anyone against? Anyone abstaining? It's carried. Who would like to be on the ACE committee? Let's go around. Lokabandu?
Cousins.
And Councillor Osborne, yes? Councillor Osborne.
Councillor Osborne as well.
And Councillor Price.
And you've got Councillor Manning.
Yes.
You've got Councillor
I've got councillors Lokabandu, Smythe, McDougall, Dunfrancesco, Cousins, Price, Oakton, Cottle, Manning and Osborne.
Is that good? Okay. The Neighbourhood Plan Advisory Committee. Any terms of reference change?
No, unchanged, Your Worship.
I'd like to propose, Your Worship, that we adopt the unchanged terms of reference for the Neighbourhood Plan Advisory Committee, noting that its rules are dictated by a government authority.
And seconded by Rony Dougal. Yep. Voting on that. All those in favour? All those against? All those abstaining? It's passed. Who would like to be on the Neighbourhood Plan Advisory Committee? Lokabandu?
Only Dougal.
Cousins.
Anyone else? Nope.
Sorry, Neighbourhood Plan.
Neighbourhood Plan. Okay, 3 to go. The Town Centre Crime Reduction Advisory Committee.
I made one, I think, slight amendment or clarification to this one, if my memory serves me right. Oh, it was the same slight amendment I made to all advisory committees, was that they can change their membership by consensus. That's mainly in terms of the individuals who fill those roles that were as agreed. So, for instance, if the representative for St John's Church changes, for example, the new person in that same role can be brought on by consensus.
Councillor Smythe and Cousins.
Could we ensure where the police representative or member of the police stand up?
Unfortunately, Councillor Smythe, we're very much at the mercy of who the police are able and willing to send. I can't summon the police.
Could we suggest
The police are very committed to attending, but if it doesn't fit within their, they tend to agree a meeting that fits with their shift pattern, but if operationally they cannot come, there is absolutely nothing we can do, but they are committed.
PCSOs.
And those.
I can pass on to the inspector that representation of PCSOs is welcome as well. However, I know that staffing in general across the police and to a degree specifically here in Glastonbury is quite low at the moment. But they are very committed to coming along and attending, but it does depend on whether they are able to.
Okay, so small change. Oh, Councillor Manning, sorry.
I just want to respond as the last chair of that committee. I think it's really important to have senior police officers there because they can actually make decisions, whereas if we have a PCSO, then it's really just going to be sort of low-level reporting.
And they have been good at coming, generally. Councillor Cousins.
Thank you. Your Worship, I wonder whether we should have one representative from the benefice rather than naming a specific church.
Oh, may I? Right to reply. The reason it was St John's was because it's about the high street and they are the epicentre, so that's why.
I take away any thoughts of the benefice, Your Worship.
Okay. Ready to move to Councillor Price?
Can I just ask, have we had two non-British residents on that? How are we engaging with
Thank you. Right to reply. We've always had one at least. So I think what it is saying that we can have two if want to, but at least there is one. Then that has pretty much been consistent. But yeah, we'll make sure.
Councillor Cousins, and then we've.
Sorry, Your Worship. I just don't. Within the terms of reference for this advisory committee, is there any way of knowing how the members who are not councillors or members of the police or representatives of St John's, but the other members, the non-bricks and mortar residents, the bricks and mortar residents, the business representatives, how are they selected? How do we know that we don't get people who are extremely prejudiced in one way or another around the issues in positions on this, which should be an advisory committee to be impartial? How do we ensure that? What is the process of selecting those people?
So I've got Councillor Dunford-Jesco and then Osborne.
Yes, sorry, Richard. I hear you and I agree. I think how it was set up in the first place is it was actually because they were two diametrically opposed groups, and it was the thing of putting them all in the same room together to hear each other. So there was a bit of that, and it was the people that put themselves forward. So obviously the non-bricks and mortar were, I don't know, I suppose cagey about the police, and there were people that were coming that were cagey about the non-bricks and mortar, and I think somehow we have managed to muddle through. So it doesn't answer your question how they're chosen. I mean, basically we have to find people who actually want to sit on a committee. It's not been easy.
The right to reply, Your Worship. How do we do?
I've got Councillor Osborne and then Manning.
I've had quite a bit of experience in the past on standing advisory committees for religious education, and they are made up in much the same way, because what you have is 4 different constituencies: the Church of England, councillors, parents, and then other religions. And we spent cheerful hours of fun trying to work out how you could control the other religions, and if 20 different mosques all brought up, each centre, and the answer to your question, John, is there is no answer. You can't, because effectively once you farm it out to a representative to St John's Church, of St John's Church, actually they could sneak in someone from one of the other churches and we wouldn't know.
Councillor Manning?
With regard to the business representatives, the two that we've got at the moment are both businesses on the high street, different parts of the high street. Both of them have had exposure and visibility of crime in the high street, and they wanted to be a part of the group. And we think that they give a fair understanding.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, the way I understood the role of this advisory committee, if I'm wrong, was just to have views of experience of what is happening in the high street. So I don't think there was actually a sort of direction that somebody was coming from, as it were. They were just reporting on what was happening in the high street, and I suppose the police were there to kind of sift through that and then kind of decide how to deal with that. And I imagine that the non-bricks and mortar people may have some complaints that the police need to look at, whereas the business owners may have some complaints about busking or something like that, or ASB or whatever. So I think that's the way I sort of saw it. It was just a melting pot of comments.
Councillor Cousins? And then...
If we were trying to be fair about this, surely we should go to every household. We must have some information about the households. We should put a flyer through their door saying, would you like to nominate or put yourself forward for sitting on this committee? There are 2 places, and that we offer that to people on the high street, so that we don't just get those people who think they should be on it. Do you see what I mean? Otherwise, what we're creating is a place which has a lot of bias or could be unfair. How do we?
Might not be.
Yeah.
Might not be.
Okay.
I'll just mention, I've got a couple of people to speak. I have been on the committee, and my sense is it's worked well. I will say that. Councillor Osborne?
I just think you've got to trust the process at some level, and assume that the people who will come along will be people of goodwill. Yes, you're always going to have the danger of a dictatorship of the articulate. That's what happens in anything like this. But if you've said that you're going to farm it out to people, you can't police their organisations for them. That's just the way it is. And in my experience of things like this, is it generally people are quite sensible. They don't all rush up, and because it's not really a great way to spend an evening anyway.
Are we happy to move to vote on this? Would I like to propose and second the terms of reference?
Second.
Councillor Scowen Henderson. Moving to vote. All those in favour? That is, I think, unanimous. And so we can have 4 councillors on it. Who would like to be on it? Is there more than 4?
I'm there at the moment.
I'm on it at the moment. I'm happy to step down. So I'm happy to step down.
I'd be happy to join it.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Would anyone else like to be on it?
Comment that it's nice to have councillors from all different wards represented.
That's High Street.
Well, they're just High Street. So does that feel good, the 4 we've got?
Can I suggest, Councillor? We had this discussion before, didn't we? I mean, if there's 4 people that want to be on it, I think that's fair enough. I'm not going to stand up and say, I need to be on it, or whatever. I think the 4 people that have volunteered should go ahead and do it.
For what it's worth, the Deputy Mayor and Mayor have the right to turn up to any committee, I believe.
So would Michael not be an official member then?
Ordered. Shouldn't we be standing when we speak?
Yes, we should.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
Councillor Manning.
I'm just going to appoint the final paragraph of the terms of reference that councillors who are non-members may attend meetings. Doesn't exclude people coming along.
So where were we?
Yeah, sorry.
1,
Just to,
2.
If Councillor White can come anyway, then would you?
Yeah, I would like to be on the committee then. Thank you very much.
So the four we've got then are
Don Francesco.
Anderson.
Yep, very good. Two to go. The World Heritage Status Advisory Committee. Terms of reference?
Unchanged, Your Worship.
Unchanged. Proposed and seconded.
I'd like to propose that we adopt the unchanged terms of reference, Your Worship.
Seconded by Serena. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Who would like to be on the World Heritage? Loka Bendu?
White.
McDougall.
Rooney Dougal.
Cousins.
Manning.
Anyone else? You got that?
Yeah, can I just check? Councillors Lokabandu, White, Smythe, McDougall, Roney Dougal, Cousins, Napper, Manning and Oakton.
Thank you, everyone. And the last one, the Community Review Steering Group.
Yeah, so this one, you only agreed it, I think, at your last meeting. So it's got terms of reference that have come from the Somerset Association of Local Councils and the Community Council for Somerset, who are running the project. So if I could have someone to propose that, as they are unchanged, they are re-adopted a month after they were adopted.
Proposed by Roney Dougal, McDougall and Don Francesco.
Thank you.
Can we vote on that? All those in favour? That's unanimous.
Thank you. And
membership?
Yes. I believe,
was
it 4 or 5 councillors were members of it? I thought it was 4, but it might have crept up to 5, Your Worship. Yes. Yes.
The training.
Yes.
So I was on it. That's right.
Need to, McDougall.
Don Francesco.
And Rick Cook.
Right, so I've got councillors Lokabandu, Smythe, McDougall, Don Francesco and Cook. Is that correct?
There was 5.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's all our committees. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to consider the schedule of payments. So there's usually a budget report at this point, but it's only 1 month into the new financial year. So Connor is suggesting we don't do a budget report this month.
So yeah, thank you, Your Worship. The responsible finance officer is working closely with our accountant to change the format of the budget monitoring report. That work is not yet completely complete. And we are 1 month into a new financial year, so it would show you very, very little. So it hasn't come to this meeting. It didn't come to the last annual meeting. But you do have the schedule of payments, which was circulated in advance.
So we do have, the May's schedule of payments, all made in April, I guess.
Raise 1 point, please. Thanks, Your Worship. I did raise a couple of days ago item, such small writing, 3582 ATS, £2,100. Asked what that was for, and Connor said it's the Glastonbury Way app.
Yes. So the app was created with the Town Deal Accelerator funding, and that's the annual renewal. So it's in this year's budget.
Any questions? On page, Councillor Manning?
Just going back to that 3582, would it be possible to find out how long we are locked in for At this rate, it seems.
It's an annual renewal, so we're not locked into it for any period of time. They contact us every year and ask if we're going to renew.
Anything else, or am I okay to sign it?
Your Worship, could you sign this copy, please? Yourself and Councillor White.
Yep. So happy to move on? Mm-hmm. Resolutions of delegated committees. We just note these. You have to sign it there, being a member.
These are just for noting, Your Worship.
Yep.
I'll scroll slowly because they were not circulated in advance. But they do go with the minutes of the meeting.
Thank you. So that's for Connor.
Thank you.
Here we go.
End of it.
Okay.
We appointed an assistant town clerk. Yes, we did. The panel were very pleased with the calibre of candidates that it interviewed. Unanimously decided upon one candidate that they felt collectively would be perfect for the role, and the job offer was made. They very excitedly accepted it, and they're going to start in June. Sorry? That's for 30 hours per week.
Okay, so we're receiving updates from advisory committees and recommendations for decision. Hopefully not too many. Too many bits of paper.
I speak to the recommendation.
Well, yes, if it's for the neighbourhood plan, Councillor Rainey, please do.
Yes, please do.
We're having to redo the neighbourhood plan and plan it to put it into the correct format that are required for neighbourhood plans. But because the original document is now, when was it, 2016 or something, it's many years out of date. So it was realised that we would need new photographs for all of the different sections in the neighbourhood plan. So we invited David Greenaway and Kevin Redpath to do photographs for us. And they've done some really lovely photos, including drone photos, showing industrial areas, showing residential, all the different aspects that are going into the neighbourhood plan, green spaces and so on. And we thought it would be really nice to give them a thank you gift. So we asked them to do it. They did it voluntarily. But David Greenaway alone spent 3 days on it, just going out doing photographs. Oh yes, you're here, David. Whoopsie daisy. And Kevin Redpath said he's still working on his, and do we have a date for him to give them in by? And we just wanted to make an acknowledgement of their hours of work, and it's not much, considering the number of hours, but something as a thank you from us.
Are we happy to accept that recommendation?
Right.
I will suffice that. Okay. Oh, do you need a proposer and a seconder?
Ideally, yes, a proposer to accept.
Proposing.
I will second your worship.
Okay, all those in favour? Thank you very much.
Recommendation number Does that need a decision?
Which recommendation?
Number one, because we did number 2 first, it seems.
Well, Your Worship, I'm unsure whether it, I don't know whether it does need a decision at this point in time. We have already agreed to pay Annette to do the work, and this is part of the work that payment, I believe, is it's not an additional payment, let's put it that way. So I'm unsure. That's why I didn't speak to it, Your Worship.
Yes, sorry, if it's not an additional payment, and that's how I read it, that it's just some of the work that they're doing within their contract already appointed, it doesn't need a decision.
Whenever they talk about a piece of work they're doing, I always make sure that it's within the costs that we've already agreed.
So we're happy with that. Okay, can go forward. Okay. So the climate and ecological emergency.
Oh yes, would you like to put the logo up for us, Connor?
Yes, let me just
see it.
Yeah, let me just quickly find it.
So this has been done. Lots of different people have in the committee have contributed to it, and it's a very simple logo with the words supported by Glastonbury Town Council. But we need you to approve it so that I can then send all the information through to Earth Fair, who will do the bulk buy and distribute everything around it. But you do need to agree the logo first of all. So it's...
Which one would you like me to show, Councillor?
Number 2, tall logo number 2. No, that's the wrong one. There's one that has supported by Glastonbury Town Council on it. And that was sent through to you yesterday.
Yeah, so
this one came to you before.
You emailed me.
Sent to you yesterday.
Which is this one. Yesterday at 18:17. And following the thread through, these are the 3 links I get to click.
Oh, there was another one that she sent through that was separate from those 3. Oh dear. Yes, but
so maybe we could come back.
It's in my laptop, not in.
Maybe we could take Unitary Council
So
reports.
have a look at that one, and I will tell you what she's done to it, because it does say supported by Glastonbury Town Council. So do take the number 2 one, unless you can find the other email that I sent to you.
Now I've searched your name in my email, and it's only this one.
Is this the latest one on that because you had a whole line of stuff there?
No. What I received.
Okay.
Hang on.
Don't worry, because I know how these things disappear, and it's really hard.
I think what you might have done, I don't know if you forwarded it to me or sort of copied me into a reply, but this is the entire thread that I received. You can see, here's the logo with additional wording.
Yes.
No additional attachment there. Oh, hang on a minute, it's there. Right, there we go. It's
make it smaller.
I'm going to try to.
There we go.
There we go. I didn't see that one.
What I would very much like the council agree that they're happy with this, and this will go on the cups. And it won't go in black and white. Basically, it's etched into the plastic on the cup around the top rim, and on the back side will be reusable cup, so people know that it's a reusable cup.
Okay. Yep. Councillor Cousins.
I propose that we accept this and hope clerks don't see it.
Would anyone like to second it? Councillor Much. Moving to vote on that. All those in favour of this particular logo? All those against? All those, is that against? No.
Yeah, I'm in favour, yeah.
Anyone abstaining? So I think that's unanimous.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Good, we can get this one going then. I shall send it to Earth Fair and get it going. So there's a second thing that we did, which is not mentioned here, but I wanted to bring through to you. And once again, Connie, you've got this that I sent through to you. Do you remember, it's about a year ago, that we agreed to give £400 for a leaflet for poems on the buses? And that we had a task and finish group And Phil Shepherd worked with students at St Dunstan School to make poems, and with students at Strode College to do the graphics. And those are actually going to go on the buses, and he's doing that. That doesn't involve us and our money. But we agreed £400 for it to also become a leaflet. So this is not the right size because it's going to be on A3 sheet of paper. But what I want you to see is that with it being A3, there's the front, which here says poems on the buses and information about the timetables. And on the back, it's got a drawing thing of all the different places that the buses go to. You then open it and you get information about the major bus companies, and you get some poems and some thank yous. That's why one of those looks upside down. You then open it again and you get a whole load more of the children's poems, and you then open it completely and you get the timetable. And the timetables are for all the different buses and lots of information where you get them from, a QR code so that you can see what's happening to your bus, phone numbers and all the rest of it. So it's taken us a long time to put this together. And we've also got the Glastonbury Town Council logo, and supported by Glastonbury Town Council is on it. So what I would like is for you to say, hey, well done.
Well done. Well done. Very good.
I can say that to Susanna, who has put hours into it, and Phil, who's put hours and days and weeks and months into it, and all the children at St Dunstan who've written all the poems and all the graphics from the students. It's been a real collaborative effort, and our little bit is making these leaflets. And do I have your permission to spend the £400 to get 3 quotes from 3 painters, and then get the leaflets out into the cafes, into the B&Bs, and if possible,
yes, you do.
To all the people on Windmill Hill who've had such disruption over the past few years. One bus going, another bus going, buses not turning up. Now we've got a whole new load of different routes happening, and it's been a real nightmare, and I would like to be able to support them.
I've got a couple of people who want to speak.
I just clarify the budget's £300, not 400.
We agreed the 400 way back when, and I'm just wanting that they're happy with the leaflet for that £400 to be spent.
I thought it was 300 when you emailed me earlier.
No, it was. Oh yes, it's 300 for this and 400 for the Cubs. Sorry,
That's all right.
So I've got a couple of people who want to speak.
I just want to ask how many leaflets? Well, as many as the money will support.
Councillor Cuttle.
Okay, thanks. Serena, I have a question for you, which I'm not pushing too hard in my own capacity, but I wondered if your bus group could do something. The 374. Okay, it's a pain in the neck, and sending double deckers up Bugtown is ridiculous. And why they can't come up Legger Mutton like everybody else has always done?
They come down Legger Mutton.
I've no idea.
Only go down. All they do is they go up Bugtown, do Windmill Hill, go down Leg of Mutton, and then they do the bus stops on the Wells Road. So it used to be that they came up Leg of Mutton, down the Old Wells Road, up the Old Wells Road, down Leg of Mutton. And those are the 2 routes. But it meant that they missed out the Wells Road. And for some reason, First Bus, in their wisdom, want them to serve both Windmill Hill and the Wells Road.
Well, I'll tell you for why
It's a nightmare for the bus drivers. Do you know, Nick, how many hours we have spent talking with First Bus trying to get them to see reason? We can't.
You can't get it. Okay, because it was just something that worries me that it's a way for them to stop that bus going up.
I know.
And that worries
me. We are
me.
really concerned about it. And it's the Somerset Bus Partnership who've got all of this together in terms of the new timetables and leaflets and all the rest of it.
Brilliant.
And are constantly on at them about it. First bus, basically it's high-tech people in offices in Bristol who don't know the routes, who don't listen to us, who we will continue to lobby.
Okay.
So, it's gone 9:30.
Move to
We've been
vote.
meeting 2.5 hours. Do I have our permission to continue another 20 minutes? Which I'd rather not do, but I think we need to finish the agenda.
Move to vote.
Moving to
I'd like
vote.
to say something.
Move it all. Come on.
I think it's important. I think this is great, brilliant. I think it's important to say that people should check for updates, just alert them to that, because it does keep changing.
It does, and it does say that it's relevant until the 2nd of September. It does say that.
Okay. Yeah.
And also it gives QR codes and it gives phone
that's
numbers and so on. They're all timetables valid.
Is the Froome bus, the situation to get to Froome mentioned?
Oh, sorry, that was one beyond.
It's gone backwards.
That was one beyond us. We got it as far as Shepton Mallet and Wells, but not Froome. Froome is impossible.
Okay, so thank you. We'll move to vote on this recommendation.
On agreeing this time, this.
Agreeing the leaflet and the money for the leaflet. All those in, proposed by Don Francisco, seconded by Rena Dougal. All those in favour? All those against? All those abstaining? That's passed again.
Thank you very much. Susanna will be delighted.
No, hang on.
Yeah.
No, sure.
What you will find.
Okay, so can we move on to unitary council reports? Councillor Cotton.
Okay, thank you. Mine's very quick this month. I apologise that you haven't got a big one so far in your inboxes. There will be something arriving in the next week or two. I'm a bit slow. It's not me. We're having a change around of how we do things and how the group works. So I think you probably all are aware how groups work and things have to change sometimes. So to get you a full update on that will be happening again. Don't worry, I'm not missing out on that one. Right, basically, what have I been up to? Okay, we've had a full council meeting where I'm going to mention somebody who from Glastonbury who turns up at every single Somerset full council, Eva. I think probably Serena knows Eva. And it's quite amazing. I'm quite impressed with her. She always got something to say, and she always comes up and has her public spot and speaks. I've never seen her here, and so that's quite impressive. So about Eva like that. But going back to what I've been up to, I've had one full council. I've had planning, which is always quite arduous and quite can be stressful. I think you're probably aware, Indra will be aware, I'm sure, that West End Quarry has been withdrawn.
Yes. I got that news. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm watching the arguments about those.
We need to talk about that.
And so that is that's what I'm doing. In case any of you don't know, I'll just have a look. And yeah, I won't put myself in a bad position, so I won't say any more. But yeah, so that's been the big one. Selwood Garden Village, which is at Froome, or community, it's not village, is not coming to June. Hot off the press, is not coming to the June meeting. It's been postponed till the July meeting. But this is a huge one. You worry about the odd 50 houses we get here. This is like 1,700 houses that are coming forward around Froome. There's an area of about 10,000 houses in Taunton. Taunton has got a really big thing going on there. So there's quite a lot of that. And apart from that, which is keeping me very busy, my general casework in Glastonbury, and thanks to at least 2-3 of you, is increasing, which I don't mind at all. It's very busy and keep sending it to me, really, is all I can say. I obviously can't say what they are, but some are planning and some are other things, and yeah, It's a busy old time. It's a full-time job and a bit, and I don't mind. That's the thing. Yes, John, you have a question?
Nick, I don't know whether through planning you have any idea of when the Town Deals Enabling Project, there's the field in question that's caused quite a bit of controversy, I suppose, for the site of the Traveller site, the Enabling Project. That's been on the cards for a long time. I don't know.
There's two, I think, down that sort of area, aren't there? No, I've got no real progress on that one. There's nothing. There is nothing. Let's put it this way: I haven't seen it come forward as of yet, and maybe things are changing there. I don't know. You probably know as much as I do on that one. Okay. Cheers. Rick, I think was first.
Yeah, I read that it's coming up again within about a month, I think. It's coming alive again. So I've put out the comments why. You know, it's been flooded largely since October, November.
Sorry, Rick, I couldn't quite hear you there. I'm sorry, mate. Can you hold?
No, it's they mentioned. I can't understand why it's even being considered to be put forward again.
Enabling field.
Because of the sheer weight of water that's been going down there for the last 6 months or whatever, and not only that, there's still no evidence of what the actual base is going to be used, constructed to take vehicles there. I mean, I know we haven't got a plan yet, but there must be some consideration there of just adding more weight to flood it even worse. So I just wonder if you know about this.
I don't really know. Not off the top of my head. I can find out. If you send me an email on that, I can look into it, or a WhatsApp or something.
Yeah. I'll try and send you the plan actually, because I did ask you before about that. On a Mac, I don't know what the problem is with me getting. I get the letter saying that there's a planning meeting, such and such, the date, times, and all the rest of it, and then I try and open up one, and all I get is just these series of data codes and no writing.
Oh, you don't get the writing?
No, nothing. Don't get a picture of the site.
Could you maybe discuss that outside the meeting? Can we go on to Councillor Henderson?
We'll take that one outside.
So time's getting on. So I'd like to hear from Councillor Henderson.
Yeah.
Nick, nothing exciting, but something I'm sure you asked about a lot. Potholes for a kick-off.
Oh, bloody. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
case in point, but generally everywhere.
Yeah. I will give you an answer here, and I think maybe is it someone in this room? Some of the ones I have complained about, and I've got people to write in with their photos, etc. as well, so it just doesn't look like it's me. The people from highways have come out, have looked at them, measured them, and said they're safe.
Well, I think
it's hard to believe.
I think first of all, I wasn't asking about specific potholes. I was asking about the policy in general, because it's a county-wide problem, probably a country-wide problem. So I want to know what the policy is. Secondly, I mean, I think there seems to be a kind of patching up policy going on at the moment, because they seem to be just like dumping a lump of tarmac in a hole, which is invariably going to be a pothole within a couple of months at most. So it's money down the drain, basically. I mean, they need to have a real rethink about the way they service their roads. Anyway, so that I'll leave that one with you. And the other one is something that we brought up when the unitary.
About that a minute, before we move on. I saw something on the television the other evening. I don't know if you know about Gloucester and Gloucestershire and how bad their potholes are, and the new machine they've got, which works absolutely superb.
There you go. That's the sort of thing we should be looking at.
That's what is needed. That's what highways need to invest in.
So there you go. Get on it. So that's a good idea. And the other thing is, we were discussing when the unitary was first formed was gully clearance, because that policy that Somerset County Council had was a unworkable model. So we need something
on that.
Okay, so
well, actually, what I'll do, I'll come back to you on that. I'll talk to Richard, who is the what you would call lead officer, lead member on that, and I'll get the actual policy, and I'll bring it back to the council for the next month.
Okay,
that's easy.
So
that one.
we shall move on shortly, but I've got Councillor Osborne and then McDougall.
Okay, yep. Lenny?
Just asking, could you possibly look into the lack of signage in St John's Square car park? Because, you know, there are like arrows pointing you which way to go.
Yeah.
There's no sign at the beginning when you go in to say which way to go.
The way we normally go round.
We know because we live there, so that's why we do it. But the number of tourists who don't know and go the wrong way round, the whole thing needs all the arrows need repainting, and at least a sign put up saying which way to go. There used to be one, I think it fell off.
Yeah. I've known that problem for years. I keep forgetting about it, but I will remember it now that you've brought it up, and I will get on the case on that one.
Thank you.
Councillor McDougall?
Yes, so as part of my LCM duties, I attended a highways group, and I met all the wonderful people who we always hear about but never see, who sort out highways for us. And they said that they were going to be doing Magdalen Street this year.
Well, that's what Richard told me, and whether that's, I'll believe it when I see it.
Addressing the bricks.
Yeah, and yeah, because they've been harassed about that enough that they should know, and they had pictures last year, and they got more pictures this year.
4 of them there, all agreeing that's.
And they all agreed to you, yeah?
And the other thing is that as part of our devolving of services, they want us to appoint a highways steward. So that will be the person in potholes and as I understand it, Somerset Council still do the potholes, but we would appoint a highway steward to go around and check what needs to be done.
Thank you for that. And while you're talking about LCNs, I'm sorry about this, but I'm prolonging the conversation. Your opinion as somebody who attends, okay? Is it good, bad, or a load of rubbish?
It's getting off to a spluttering start, I would say, but you know, that was a very useful meeting that I attended.
Okay, I can feed that back because I'm sceptical.
I was overjoyed after 9 years of talking about people at highways.
And you actually met someone.
Was want them to do, and I actually heard spoke to them.
Good.
Fantastic.
That's brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nick.
Okay.
We may hear from Susanna at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
Are we ready to move on? Number 19. So Mayor's announcements. I think the only announcement is Mayor's Day will be Saturday, July the 6th. Invitations will go out in due course. I will also mention coming up soon is D-Day on June the 6th. I've been asked to organise prayers to begin the day at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I've been inviting 2 Christians, a Muslim and a Jew, and a Buddhist. I'm myself the Buddhist. I thought that'd be a nice interfaith beginning. That's all my announcements, I think. Was that a question?
Oh, yes, Your Worship. I think the day is starting a little earlier than you. I'm just casting an eye over it.
No, the day is starting earlier. My prayers were at 9.
I've got one more thing, that I'm a fair trade representative, and we don't do an awful lot on fair trade, but it is 30 years of the fair trade brand, and I have asked for us to have a banner. I'm just alerting council to the fact that it is a big year for fair trade. We'll try and do more than just a banner.
So communications and announcements, is that?
I don't have any.
Okay. Any other communications and announcements?
Well, just to say that D-Day on the 6th of June is also going to culminate in a lighting of a beacon on tour, which will take place at from 9 o'clock to 9:15, and the Lord Lieutenant himself is coming to that event. And prior to the lighting, there will be a celebration for D-Day of fish and chips, which will be happening around about sort of 4 o'clock-ish. And a Deputy Lieutenant, the Vice Lieutenant of Somerset, is going to be attending that and will also give a speech. So there's quite a lot happening on that day. Scarlett's putting together a sheet which I hope will be circulated to councillors, but do put it in your diary. It's unfortunately a Thursday.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements? Correspondence?
The only thing I've had that I'll raise, Your Worship, I circulated it earlier today. Members have received an invitation from the Chief Executive of the South West Heritage Trust to a private viewing of a new exhibition at the Somerset Rural Life Museum. Cannot remember the date off the top of my head, but I forwarded you all that email. So just to make you aware that that is there. I believe it's a Friday.
Councillor Manning?
I guess it's correspondence, but in our council pack, we had a police report.
Yes, we did. That's true.
So that was only because the Town Centre Crime Reduction Advisory Committee received that for their meeting, and I asked Sarah Hallam to put it in the folder, mainly for councillors' information. So it wasn't an agenda item, it was just so that everyone on the council had sight of what had gone to that committee meeting. So please do read it at your leisure.
Thank you. News releases?
Your Worship, I think that having the first ever Buddhist mayor of Glastonbury is worthy of a news.
I don't know how to do a news release.
We have.
We could omit.
Thank you. Actions arising from the meeting. We're very nearly there. We're almost at the end. Actions arising.
Thank you, Worship. You stole my pen, so I haven't been able to star my actions in green as I normally do. I have noted them through my notes. I will put the, if you wish, Your Worship, when we discuss the June agenda, whether you wish for Glastonbury Pride to be a full agenda item. I've noted that we've appointed the internal auditor, noted the external auditor. Finance and General Purposes will receive the update on the agenda item number 12, which escapes me off the top of my head. I've obviously noted the membership of all the new committees. I'll issue them to the wider staff team.
Yep.
And any other action that I've noted will get put in the minutes and actioned. Sorry, I can't give you a...
I apologise for stealing your pen.
That's quite all right. I'll have to keep much closer guard of it next time.
So the last thing is to note the date of the next meeting, which will be in June.
The second Tuesday in June. The 11th of June.
Councillor Cottrell, last word.
Sorry, I should have said this before. I'm giving my apologies now. I will be in Canada at that particular time.
Nice.
So I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry, John, I'm flying a long way. You won't like that. But never mind.
All the people on the Facebook page.
Yeah, but I will send all the information through for what people want.
So I will say thank you to everybody. There was one item missing from this agenda, you might have noticed, which was the representative to outside bodies, which we normally go through the Carnival Club, the Football Club, the Town Deal Board and so on. But we're going to bring that, I believe, to the next meeting in June. We felt it doesn't have to be done tonight. It's a long meeting already, but it's a good thing to do. So we have links all over the town. It's going to come up in June.
So please, if I may, everyone have a think about organisations that we currently have a link to and ones that may wish to have a link to us, and obviously ask them in advance, but provide them to me so I can assemble some form of list ready for the June meeting so that we can appoint representatives to outside bodies.
And then,
Your Worship, I must just say that you are now that you've become mayor, you are an ex officio member of the Glastonbury People's Trust, whether you like it or not.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
Still last.
So I declare the meeting closed.
Great.
Thank you.